Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The subject today is a response to an atheist who implies that because there is predestination in Islam, so this means that there is no free will. Does the concept of predestination in Islam refute free will? Let's find out. Let's see what the argument of the atheist is. First, they mention the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said, "Verily the creation of each one of you is brought together in his mother's womb for 40 days as a drop, then he is a clot for a similar period, then a morsel for a similar period, then there is sent to him the angel who blows the spirit into him, and he is commanded regarding four matters to write down his provision, his lifespan, his deeds, and whether he is blessed or damned. By Allah, other than whom there is no God, one of you acts like a people of paradise until he is but an arm's length from it, and what is written overtakes him. So he acts like the people of hellfire, and he enters it. Verily, one of you acts like the people of hellfire until he is but an arm's length from it, and what is written overtakes him. So he acts like the people of paradise, and he enters it. Let's see what's the atheist argument regarding.
So here's a question to all the Muslims watching this. How is it that we are told by Allah that we have free will and our actions and beliefs will still decide whether we end up in Jannah or Jahannam? Yet clearly He also says that He has already written your endgame and where we're gonna end up, even before we are born.
We tell the atheist that Islam gives the most perfect and complete and consistent response to this argument. Let's see how. First, to understand predestination, you need to understand the attributes of God. God is omnipotent and creator of all things, physical and abstract, in exact measures. God is omniscient and he knows everything from the past and future precisely. In that hadith, what Allah has asked the angel to write is based on the knowledge of God, and he knows everything which happens in the future, and no act can be done without God's permission. This reflects the supreme power and complete knowledge of God on all beings. This does not reject the fact that when an individual does an act, either good or bad, it was not from his own personal free will. God's prior knowledge and writing of it does not mean that the individual did not have a choice and they are being accounted for it unfairly. This is the most consistent and logical stance on this subject. Let me point out to you a few things about it. If God did not know how you will turn out to be, that means that he is not omniscient and he does not know what will happen in the future. This is a sort of a weakness in the Creator. If a person could act on his free will outside the reigns of permission of God, then that would be a deficiency in his omnipotence. And if something could occur, something could be created or exist beyond the control of God, that would mean that he is not the creator of all things. Does this negate that the individual acting on good or evil does not have free will? No, it does not negate that at all. Rather, it shows the complete power and knowledge of God. Allah has mentioned in the Quran, "And there is not for man except for which he strives, and that his effort is going to be seen. Then he will be recompensed for it with the fullest recompense." So a person will be recompensed fairly and justly on what he did. God's prior knowledge of his actions does not refute that he was not the one who performed those actions. All of God's attributes are non-contradictory and they are perfect. This includes God being the most just and all-wise. So when a person is punished for his actions, he is not to blame but himself. God's knowledge of his action does not give him an excuse to be wrong or evil. This is just a way that he wants to justify him being evil. The question of why God does anything is very irrational. The reason for it is that an individual cannot assess the wisdom of a competent doctor or an engineer or a mathematician or a theoretical physicist if he is not in the same domain himself. So, how can you comprehend the complete knowledge and wisdom of an all-wise, all-knowing being? You will always end up at a point where you will not understand the wisdom of it. So, if you don't know everything, does this refute the presence of a God? No. Actually, this is the more logical stance, that you don't know all of what God knows and you don't understand that. Reverting to atheism is very foolish using this argument, because this argument actually proves or points to a presence of God rather than an absence of it. The human limitation does not refute the fine-tuning of the universe and extreme precision in cosmic constants to sustain the universe, indicating an intelligent designer. The concept of predestination in Islam gives an argument in favor of a creator, and it does not refute it. And it does not refute the free will of a person performing his actions, good or evil.